situation. It's 9 a.m. on a Monday, and it's your first day of fourth grade. You get to school, some of you may be tired, some of you may be already ready for the day, and a few of you might even be excited. But you get to your first period, which is grammar, and you have a spelling test. So you sharpen your pencil, you get your chair, you get ready to sit down, and suddenly,
This is Big Kennedy's chair, Buster. We don't handle nerds like you at our school.
Big Kennedy comes out of nowhere, steals your chair, and the whole class, including your teacher, is looking at you. What would you do in this situation? Most of you wouldn't have an answer, would you? This is bullying, and this speech is the anatomy of a bully, where I will break down how to spot a bully, how to deal with a bully, but also how to help bullies. Because at the end of the day, not all bullies are inherently bad people. But before we get into all of those topics, let's first delve into what causes a bully to become a bully. There isn't just one reason bully. It could be a multitude of things, from psychology, the environment where they live in, and who they're influenced by. Here are 6 things that I researched that are the main causes of bullying. And first off, it is the drive for power and control. Most bullies, they feel the need to control things around them. They have a drive to be in charge of everything. It's like a manager at a company who's just a manager, but who exerts his rules as an owner. I'm sure Jason might have related to this at some point, having a worker who feels like he is well above his pay grade. Bullies feel the need to control everything and everyone around them. Number 2, insecurity. Even if they act confident, bullies will belittle and downgrade other people in order to set themselves on a higher pedestal of others, in front of others. Number 3, learned behavior. Keep in mind, at the beginning of the scenario, I painted a picture that we were in 4th grade, putting our age around 9 or 10. As kids, we automatically mimic the behavior of those around us, whether younger, our age, or older. It's what we're taught. And while, yes, depending on who you are around, that behavior is good. However, for kids who might not be watching the right things, who might not be around good people or have the best of influences, it can very quickly turn into a problem where that behavior is mimicked in a public place, therefore bullying. Number 4, social status. We are in a school setting, and majority of schools have a social status. And for a bully, the funnier you are and the more feared you are could possibly prevent you from being bullied, could possibly prevent you from getting in trouble or getting into fights with other students, because it paints this picture of, oh, Kennedy's a big bad bully, I wouldn't want to mess with her. Think about it. You see a fresh kid, brand new, walk into school. Nobody knows him. A perfect target for bullies, right? However, Big Kennedy comes in, pulls the chair out from the new kid, and asserts herself as this big, scary person who people wouldn't want to mess with. Automatically, if a student, because keep in mind we're young, walks into a class and sees that, they're not going to mess with Big Kennedy, putting her in a safer position. Number 5, lack of empathy. As I said before, we are young. Empathy is defined as having the ability to put yourself in others' shoes. So, for instance, when Kennedy pulled the chair out from under me, she did not know how that would make me feel. And even though I know it's part of the speech, if it were an actual scenario and Kennedy did do that to someone, if she knew how that person would have felt, whether that person would have cried, whether that person would have fought back, do you think she would have reconsidered that action? I believe so. I feel like everyone would believe so. And finally, number 6, and what I believe is the biggest reason why we have so many bullies, it is their home environment. The two biggest people in anyone under 18 in anything under 18 years of age's lives are our parents. They are the people who teach us how to drive. They're the people who teach us how to act. They are our examples. When in some relationships, parents will fight, they will argue, and they will do it in front of the kids. When the kid is exposed to their biggest influences doing that, they automatically think, oh, mom and dad are doing that. It must be right. It must be okay for me to do it. I've seen it happen firsthand. I've almost had it happen to me. It happens a lot more than people think, and it is so easy because, as I said earlier, influence is one of the biggest factors in how kids nowadays act. When you see someone who you look up to automatically off of the default do something, your first instinct is that it is right. After going through the 6 things that can cause bullying, you need to know how to identify different types of bullying. Because bullying isn't just shoving somebody in a locker or taking someone's lunch money or pulling a chair out from a new kid about to take a spelling test. Bullying doesn't always look the same. Sometimes it's physical, hitting, shoving, damaging property, taking my chair out from under me. It's a physical action that you immediately notice. Sometimes bullying could be verbal. As you saw, not only did Kennedy pull the chair out from under me, she yelled at me and let me know that this is her school. However, that is a soft version of verbal bullying. People can yell, scream, call you names that stick with you a lot longer than they should and make you feel a certain way. That proves that not only do bullies have, physical contact as a weapon, but also their words. And sometimes, depending on how it's used, words can cut a lot deeper than physical pain will, if done by the right person. Next up, we have psychological bullying. And this is a form of bullying that is a little less common, but can also cause a lot of mental issues in the person being bullied. And one example I have is this. Say, for instance, and it can also be a side effect of another type of bullying. Kennedy pulled the chair out from under me. Everyone in the class laughs at me and thinks I'm not cool, and therefore, I am left out of activities. I am put last. I am no one's friend. That is psychological. That is in my mind that I am not important because I was embarrassed. That is psychological bullying. And it is the fear that you will be left out because of something that has happened to you. And then there's what is currently the most common type of bullying, cyberbullying. And I feel like this is a point where everyone should listen because majority of the people in here have a phone, yes? Bullying will not just follow you in school or at work. People can find social media, get your number, and text you horrible, horrible things without there being a parent or a teacher to reprimand said person. And I say this because I've had it happen to me and I've seen it happen on numerous occasions where there's no one to intervene in said bullying. And I also feel that this should be a wake-up call that if, say, your parents were to take your device or go through your device, it's not just because they think, oh, they're not performing well because of that dang phone. No, it is because your parents are mature enough to realize that this stuff can happen to anyone, and they want to protect you from that. That's something I had to learn. Those conclude the different types of bullying and what causes a bullying, but how can we stop a bully? You see, bullies, they thrive off of tension. As I said earlier, a bully's main goal is to belittle other people so they can feel better about themselves. So, if someone were to call you a name, the best thing to do wouldn't be to get mad, get ready to fight, or call them something back. It would be to simply ignore them. If a bully knows that they can't get to your head, why would they keep trying? Make sense? They would move on. They would leave you alone. They know that you're too smart to fall for what we call nowadays rage bait and interact with them and not give them the time of day that they see. But you can also revert a bully because, as I said, the most common cause of bullying is a bad environment at home. We were always taught as kids to treat others how you want to be treated, So whereas everyone might be mean to a bully, or the bully might be mean to everyone, if you come in and you treat that bully with respect, kindness, and show them how they should treat other people, you can change their perspective on how they act around others. And I say this not so that next time you get bullied, you can try it on a bully. I say this to share that you have the power to change those around you just based off how you act. And I feel like you should be mindful of that when you talk to people, when you notice people's different scenarios of what's going on in their life. You have the chance and you have every tool needed in order to uplift a person's day with just your voice and what you say. In conclusion, we now know how to identify a bully, the different types of bullies, and how to stop a bully. So, I now have one question to conclude this. Put yourself in my shoes at the beginning of the speech. You're getting ready to take a spelling test, and Big Kennedy pulls the chair out from under you. I want one volunteer to answer what they would do in this situation. Come on.
I'm just getting in the chair.
Get in the chair. Not only does that not give Kennedy the reaction that she asked for, or the reaction that she wanted, but she didn't say anything back to her. She got a new chair, went on to a spelling test, and didn't let her get to it before the spelling test, which probably would have thrown off her performance. This concludes my speech on the anatomy of a bully. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I would like to introduce the second evaluator, Jason, who's evaluating Kennedy.
This is my sixth speech, and its title is Help My Friend is an NPC.
Oh, my friend is an NBC?
Yes.
Okay. Just general evaluation or specific?
6 is about vocal control, like the
Vocal
pitch,
variety?
the tone.
Okay.
Yes.
I can't, yeah, I got it though. I got it. Thank you, Toastmaster. Today I'll be evaluating Candy's sixth speech, Help My Friend is an NPC. And I'll be evaluating her vocal variety and how she uses the tone of her voice to make an impact on her speech and gain attention, or get attention and engagement, and to emphasize her points. I'll also be looking at general items such as body language, engagement with stage presence, speech organization, and the use of notes. With that, I'd like to introduce Candy.
There. Okay. Thank you so much for that introduction, Toastmaster Jason. Okay, I have a hypothetical situation for you. It's completely unrealistic, and it's definitely not based on anybody over here. But you start to suspect that your friend might be an NPC. I know. Very, very scary. But don't panic, because I am here to help you through this extremely difficult and scary time. Today, I am going to be your guide on identifying NPC behavior in the wild, and something even more dangerous. First things first, as an introduction, NPC stands for non-playable character. Essentially, someone who constantly exudes background character energy. Obviously, not all NPCs are the same, but today we will be stereotyping. Let's take a look at the stats. Next slide, please. As you see, we've got low originality, extremely low self-awareness, moderate adaptability, and a personality that is sadly still loading. Very unfortunate for this party man. Behavior-wise, though, NPCs are pretty consistent. They tend to mirror the room that they're in, repeat whatever opinions are already floating around, and basically avoid doing anything that would make them stand out. So instead of standing out as a person, they blend into the room like background music. And their goal is safety. Because apparently, if nothing about you stands out, then there's nothing for anybody else to critique. So, as a recap, how do you actually go out and identify one? Next slide, please. I want you to look for patterns like low originality, group-based behavior shifts, and a heavy adaptation to whatever so happens to be socially acceptable. Now, to be clear, this species of human isn't bad or anything. It's just people who prioritize comfortability over individuality. The unfortunate part of this world is that where NPCs are, there are bound to also be main characters. First, I need to be very clear, because main character is not a compliment. It's a diagnostic or a complex of sorts. Next slide, please. Let's take a look at their stats. We have a very high ego, also low self-awareness, and extremely high emotional intensity. These are the type of people who think that they deserve their own theme music. Behavior-wise, main characters tend to take over conversations without noticing, turn normal experiences into performances, and try to one-up almost anything you say. Instead of blending into the group, they try to bend the group to themselves. It's not always intentional, but it is consistent. So, how do you recognize this very dangerous creature? Next slide, please. You might notice that you feel talked at, not with. You feel like a side character to all their conversations. You might feel constantly compared to them. And most of all, you will leave the conversation feeling drained or invisible. These feelings will not always come up while you're speaking to them, but you should pay attention to what you feel after. Main characters and NPCs are pretty different, right? As a comparison, let's put them side by side. On one side, NPCs fit in. On the other, main characters stand out. NPCs follow what's already accepted. Main characters do what they have to do to get noticed. NPCs avoid attention, while main characters pose. They look like opposites. So here's my question for you. Next slide, please. What do they actually have in common? Because there is something. Well, the thing that NPCs and main characters both have in common is what they're reacting to. Next slide, please. The group, society. Even though their behaviors are wildly different, they both are trying to pull attention and approval from other people. To do this, main characters stand out and try to seem different, and NPCs blend in and try to seem normal. To an unexperienced guide, they might miss this, because it's not about their personality type. It's about what the main characters and NPCs decide to orient themselves around. Next slide. My speech is coming to an end, and let me say first that this is obviously exaggerated. This is not really talking about real people, and real people are much more complex than 2 slides and a stat bar could ever explain. So what I don't want you to do with my satirical and absurd speech is go out and start prescribing strangers to touch grass. Because the point of this speech isn't to label people, but it's to point out that whether we're trying to seem normal or different, we're still vying for the same people's attention. Thank you.
not yet.
I will give you questions before I call a person.
I'm the table fix question and my role is to call questions and ask people to answer them. My first question is, would you rather have a tiger or a lion for a pet? Abby.
Thank you for the question. Was it, would you rather have a lion or a tiger as a pet? Personally, I really love tigers. Also, it's my Chinese zodiac sign as 2010. And I think that both lions and tigers are really cool. But since tigers do fit my sort of aesthetic and vibe around that, I think I would rather have a tiger as a pet. Also, I think I'm personally more afraid of lions than tigers, just because lions, while both of them are cats and I do love cats, lions just have that feeling around them that isn't as friendly as tigers to me. And so I think it would be more fun and maybe more effective to have a tiger as a pet than a lion. Thank you for the question.
Which book is your favorite from Advine? Yeah. Which book is your favorite and why? Honestly, my favorite book would probably be Diary of a Wicked Kid Getaway. So, in this book, Greg and his family go on vacation and they go through a lot of challenges. In fact, they also got kicked out of the Paradise Beach. It's my favorite because it's funny. And there's a lot of crazy things that happen. For example, whenever Greg and his family go, I think it was snorkeling or something, they forget their older brother, and then he's there for an hour or something like that. And then when they come back to get him, his face is like a tomato. Also, the youngest brother, Manny, they have to have fancy clothes to get inside this restaurant. So he went to a different room, grabbed their fancy clothes, everyone changed, they went into the restaurant, but the family that owned the clothes were in there already. So they kind of got kicked out. Thank you. Would you rather have an adventure or stay at home? Miss Hannah.
So the question is, would I rather have adventure or stay at home? Definitely. Thank you for that question. Definitely adventure. So yeah, because it brings something new to you, and got to see the new people, new places, and have new experiences. And that's always fun and exciting. Staying home sometimes good, especially when I'm tired and I need some rest. I will stay home. And nowadays, I think I pretty much like to stay home just because there's just so many things I have to take care of, and a lot of times I feel tired, so I would like to stay home, but maybe once or twice a year I want to go out and adventure in the condition that I have money. I would go out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks at a time just to have fun, see the new things. Yeah, thank you. That's giving me some good idea for next year. Thank you for that question.
If you got to have any pet in the world, what animal would it be? Yeah. So the question was if I could have any pet in the world, which one would it be? I would choose a dog because I'm really simple. I'm not that, I don't want anything exotic like an alligator or a snake. And I think dogs are really fun to be with and loyal, and I would like a dog. Thank you. Would you be an artist or an astronaut? And why? This goes to Arjun.
Just quick reminder, effective is the word of the day.
I would be. The question was, if I, would you rather be an artist or an astronaut? I would be an artist because when you're an astronaut, you have to stay in space until you die. I don't like to die in space. So, and I liked art. So, yeah, I would be an artist. Thank you. Would you rather read books for a day without stopping or write books for a day without stopping? Kennedy.
So the question is, would I rather read books for a day without stopping or write books for a day without stopping? The answer to me seems obvious. I had absolutely no thought to find my answer. When it comes to writing, I am not an effective writer at all. It takes me hours just to get one sentence on the paper. And it took me like 2 weeks just to prepare that few pages of speech that I did today. If I had to write for a full day, 24 hours without stopping, it would be equivalent to torture. Torture. On the other hand, we have reading. Reading is great. Everyone should do it. Right now, I'm reading Matilda to my younger brothers, and I'm reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe because it's a book I've never read before, and my mom and friend both chastised me for. These are great books so far, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity of reading them. I'd probably get finished with both if I had 24 hours to read, so that means that I would just go to the collection of books that my parents have and pick out a few more that they recommend, and I would have a great and relaxing day. Thank you for that question.
Which one should be eliminated for $100? Phones or laptops? This goes to Emma.
So the question was, which would I eliminate for $100, phones or laptops? I would eliminate laptops because mainly because phones are easier to transport. And for example, if I were caught in a situation where I had to contact someone, I would need my phone. Well, I don't have a phone, unfortunately. But I would need it to call people, and on laptops you can't exactly call people. Not safe. So I would have a phone. Furthermore, it's easier to transport. You can put it in pockets, put it in your backpack, put it in. Actually, I don't know. But it's smaller and it's easier to carry, and it's not as heavy. If you drop it, it also, I think it wouldn't take as much damage. So I would get rid of the laptop for $100 mainly because those are more effective and their purposes are very different.
Who is your favorite character from your favorite movie and why? I see.
Okay, so the question is, who is my favorite character from my favorite movie? And I am going to have to go with the undeniable GOAT of kids TV, Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. That show has been on a run since 1991, which could potentially be around when some of y'all's parents were born. And only recently, within the last 3 years, did they finally retire that character. Which should go to show you how much of an impact he's had over the last 30 years. Mind you, almost double the time I've been on this earth. The show is undeniably one of the best-selling shows of all time, and it wasn't even created in the US. The show is probably more popular in the United States than it is where it was made, which is Japan, which is insane. Majority of kids nowadays know Pokemon, and when they think of Pokemon, they do not think of the non-effective new Pokemon that they have, because it is not selling that much copies of the movies, of the series, of the books, of anything. They're thinking about the what was effective prime Pokemon, where Ash Ketchum and his friends from Pallet Town would go around trying to become the greatest there ever was. If you watch, you'll understand the reference. And undeniably, he is one of my favorite characters of all time. Thank you.
What is your favorite sport and why? Olivia.
What is my favorite sport and why? I play volleyball for my school team, and I also play volleyball for club, and I find it very satisfactory when it goes over the net, and I find it very unsatisfactory when it doesn't go over the net or it touches the ground. Now, you might ask me, why did I pick volleyball? Well, number one, I don't like to be outside in the heat, in the weather. The games could be easily canceled. It could rain and grass could get wet. And I don't like that. And so I decided to pick an indoor sport.
So the options were between basketball, volleyball, what else is indoor? Badminton, and swimming. In 5th grade, I used to be part of the basketball team. Now, I used to be a skinny kid, still am, and those shorts were like all the way to my knees. And so it would look like, and my ankles were like this big. And so it was just really bad, okay? I had to wear those shorts to school. It was really bad. And there weren't many people on the team, so I was just put on the court to be on the court, because we had to fill in people. So I was just, where's the ball? Where is it? Where is it? It was not very efficient for me, and I was actually awarded with Best Defense Player. I don't know why, but a process of elimination, water was too cold for swimming, badminton, my hand-eye coordination was really bad, tennis, same thing for that. Actually, tennis is outdoor, what am I talking about? And process of elimination, I chose volleyball, and I just wanted to do a sport. Thank you so much.
What is a thing you don't like but wish you like?
Yeah, Alisa, Kyle, Katie, Diana. Oh, no,
So the question was, what is something I don't like that I wish I did like? Okay, let's think. The first thing that pops up to mind is probably, I love road trips, right? But I don't like the car ride there. It sucks. I get car sick really easily, and then I can't eat breakfast, which is not a great thing for me. So I would really like it if I could not get car sick in the car and also enjoy the trip. So it wouldn't be so bad when they tell me we're gonna drive the car instead of taking the airport and the airplane, because I would prefer the airport instead of the car. But I don't mind waking up early, right? So I just need to make sure that I do like the car ride, get there safely, and enjoy the time over there, and then do it again. So it's basically a double pass, since you gotta go there and then come back. And then we do a lot of road trips. So I think if I do like car rides, I should be fine. Thank you.
If you had a 3D printer, what would be the first thing you would print, Alyssa? What was the question? If you had a 3D printer, what would be the first thing you would print? So if I had a 3D printer, what would be the first thing I would print? So a few weeks ago, during spring break, I went to a 3D printer camp. And we got to design our own 3D prints. And I designed this really cute cat on a stack of books, and inside that stack of books there was like a hole that I could put pencils in. But sadly, I had a track meet after that, so I couldn't get my creation. It's still at the library, and I don't know where they put it. So yeah, I didn't pick it up. So if I had a 3D printer, I would definitely print the cat that I made. Thank you.
was the best day in your whole life, Kyle?
My best day of my life would probably be during school time, like after TCAP, because it's annoying, really, how you have to take 2 weeks of ongoing testing, and you have to sit there for 2 hours just testing and doing nothing after that. It wouldn't be really effective for you. So after TCAP, you don't have to do all the testing. You wouldn't have to worry about like the exams for that year because you've done it, and you get to do a lot of things and privileges because the tests are over. Thank you.
That concludes the table. Now I would like to call on the general evaluator again. First, I'd like to call on the first evaluator, Abby, to evaluate Isaac's.
Thank you for that, and I might go a little bit quick because I have to be so person. So today I evaluated Isaac's third speech, The Anatomy of a Bully. It was a concise and well-planned speech, but what stuck out to me the most was the attention-grabbing part of your speech. You started out with a funny scenario and a question, capturing your audience's attention with an engaging introduction, and then you ended with a question and audience participation, which I really liked because it was almost like a circling around moment. Furthermore, I also noted your continuous use of structure by stating your structure, such as your numberings or your transition words. You gave your audience a peek at your layout for the speech. Overall, your speech had varied tone and vocabulary, effective engagement, and a clear structure, all aspects of a wonderful speech. While there aren't many things I could say for you to improve, I could say that I just wanted to say that you could try to look out a little bit more. At the beginning, you definitely had very good eye contact, making sure you made eye contact with everyone. But as it went on, you did sort of try to only look over here, and I think that if you looked over here and over here, that would have been amazing. Other than that, I just wanted to say that this speech was very well prepared, and it was delivered very, very well. Thank you so much.
Next, I'd like to introduce the second evaluator. To evaluate Kennedy's speech.
Thank you, Jen. So I had the opportunity to evaluate Ms. Kennedy's sixth speech titled "Help My Friend as an NPC," with an emphasis on vocal variety. And first off, you did an excellent job. That was a great speech, actually. It was well written, and your goal was to be humorous and informative, and I think you accomplished both. So great job. Before your speech, I had no idea what an NPC or an MC was, though I've met those people throughout my life. And now, when I see one again, I'm probably gonna laugh at them and think of your speech. So thank you for opening my eyes. You pointed out that although they're in some ways opposites, the MC wants all the attention, the NPC wants to blend into the crowd. Down deep, they're kind of the same. They're both trying to win the same people's attention, approval, and acceptance. So great call out. For the speech itself, for your execution, great job again. Vocal variety, I thought you've done a great job with. You was humorous, you used your pace, and you emphasized key points or lessons to be learned, but you also emphasized in a different way the humor side, like a comedian with perfect timing. And it made it fun, it made it interesting. You made excellent eye contact. When you was making a strong point, you would look people directly in the eyes. and that engaged them, and you've done that through multiple people. I was watching for that specifically, and so excellent job on that. And your clothes, you're well dressed. I've got to say, you're the best dressed person in the room, and I never am. But your clothes made you seem like a really authoritative figure on the a subject matter expert. And so I knew, not that I think you're maybe an NPC or an MC, I'm not sure which one's an insult, I don't know. But whatever it is, you've done a great job presenting yourself as a subject matter expert on helping us identify those people. Let's see, what else? Your slideshow really added to your speech. It helped us to really understand what an NPC and MC was in graphical terms where we can compute it. The speeches were their slideshow was very entertaining, it was easy to see, it was well laid out, and it definitely added value to their speech. And with that, I had to find something to nitpick, and it was very difficult because it was an excellent speech. You didn't use the word of the day that I know of. So there's my one thing I could think of to be negative, but I also unofficially did not hear any filler words either, so I guess they cancel out. So great speech and great job, Kim.
Next, I'd like to introduce the timer to give the timer a little to get there.
Alright, firstly, for the speeches, Isaac used 11 minutes 41 seconds, Kennedy used 6 minutes, and then for table topics, Abby used 51 seconds, Deanna used 1 minute 27 seconds, Miss Anna used 1 minute 11 seconds, Adia used 30 seconds, Arjun used 32 seconds, Kennedy used 1 minute 10 seconds, Emma used 1 minute 20 seconds, Isaac used 1 minute 34 seconds, and I would like to point this out. For my speech, Alyssa paused it at exactly 1 minute 59 seconds and 99 milliseconds. I took a screenshot and I will be sharing it to all of the group chats that Katie used 59 seconds, Alyssa used 50 seconds, Kyle used 53 seconds, and then for evaluations, Abby used 1 minute 28 seconds, and Mr. Jason used 2 minutes 45 seconds. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call Katie to get the awareness. So for our speeches, Isaac and Kennedy both didn't use the word of the day, and they both had 0 filler words. For the table topics, Abby did use the word of the day and had no filler words. Deanna didn't use the word of the day and had 2 filler words. Miss Anna didn't use the word of the day and had 1 filler word, which was Audia had 1 filler word, which was and didn't use the word of the day. Arjun didn't use the word of the day and had 5 filler words, which were all ums. Kennedy did use the word of the day and didn't have any filler words. Emma used the word of the day and didn't have any filler words. Isaac used the word of the day and didn't have any filler words. And then Olivia also used the word of the day and had no filler words. I had 2 filler words, which were so and like, and did not use the word of the day. Alyssa had 3 filler words, which were so and Kyle had 5 filler words, which were mostly us, and did use the word of the day. For the evaluations, Abby had 5 filler words, which were mostly us, and did not use the word of the day. And then Mr. Jason had no filler words and did not use the word of the day. Thank you. Overall, this meeting went really good. We had 2 really good speeches and good table topics. Not a lot of people use the word of the day. I think we can work on that. Olivia filled out for the timer for all, so good job. Most of us were on time. And honestly, the meeting ran pretty smooth.
Guys, I won't be here next weekend. I'm going to see my parents. They live out of town. So this will be my last class this semester, but I'll be back next semester. Let me ask you guys a question. How many of you, this is your first semester in Toastmasters? Here, you? How about second semester?
Oh,
That's good, right? Second semester? Okay, well, good. Well, I know y'all been here a while. You guys have done a really good job. You came in with a strong foundation. This is a pretty strong Toastmaster team, I will say. So keep up the good work, keep practicing. Hope to see you next semester. You may want to I think the nervous stage for you is out of the way. You're not really nervous in front of the microphone. That's the biggest hurdle, and I think that's behind everybody in the room. So what I would say is when you come back next semester, just think of something specific to work on. Like for me, I'm trying to make better eye contact when I speak to people. Because what I did as a defense early in my speaking journey, before the Gavel Club, I'm talking about high school and college, or at work, I would look over the crowd. And so now I'm trying to break that bad habit, because that was my defense against being nervous. So now I try to look at you in the eye, because that creates engagement. So that's what I'm working on. So one, thank you guys when you're the evaluator for calling me out on it a few times throughout the semester. And then for you guys, just think of something specific to work on. And then each speech, try to close that gap. And then when you get that fixed, think of something else. And you guys are pretty good speakers, so you'll have to nitpick a little bit. And it may be using the word of the day. That's another one that we can all use. It'll make you more effective as a speaker. And this, and really I could have used the word of the day in your speech. It would have fit perfect. So I missed the opportunity there. But anyway, great job, guys. I look forward to seeing you next semester. So thank you. Oh, one more thing. Before you guys leave, can you write down what speech you're working on? For example, it'd be speech number 7 and whatever that is. That way we'll know where everybody's at for next semester. I think I just have a piece of paper here and you can.
So we'll just go around the room. Kyle, your project number is?
So let me ask this, does it reset every semester or does it stack?
Oh, you keep on going.
Okay, in that case, I'm just wondering over time.
Oh, you already do? I have advanced books. I'll bring next semester. Yeah, those are from books. Yeah. Okay. You are 7. Okay.
Number 7, Kyle's, are you
For
writing
some
down?
reason,
Yeah.
Miss Anna, for some reason I thought I showed the speech for this meeting and I already prepared it.
Okay.
And I already practiced it too.
Okay. So next one is 7, or you already done 7?
7, but yeah.
Next one is 7?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Alright, anybody just to shout out?
My next one will be 3.
3, okay.
My next one will be 5.
5,
My next one's 3.
3,
Mine
okay.
is
4, okay. Yana?
Hers is, we can't even go out of order. The second one I'm doing, her Toastmaster journey, so it's one of the bonus ones on that.
Oh,
How about,
yeah. 5?
and we'll call it that, we'll
Okay. You both pass at 10, that's 7.
I'm still on 7.
Anybody else? 4, next, already done 4, huh?
I think so.
Okay. Alright. Alright, yeah, it's just good to keep a track, and then when you come back, you know which one you're gonna work on. And our VP education will work with you and see, hey, do you have any question on this project? She's so experienced, right? She can give a lot of advice and help on that, any project. Right. Okay, so next week, we're gonna go straight to there. We're not gonna meet here. We're gonna meet in the pavilion.
In the what?
Pavilion, over there by the tennis court. You know, there's a playground, past the playground, behind the playground.
Oh,
I don't know where to find that. I don't know where to find that.
Oh, okay. I can send out the map to the parents.
we'll have somebody by the playground that can lead you there. I'll stand on programs other than business.
Yeah, there's a playground there. Okay, great. I'll see you next week.
See you.
If you got this time, it's, I guess you go around.
How are you?
你好
How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Doing good.
I will see you next week. I'm gonna send out any sort of.
Right, all of you do
Got it, cool. Bye, Stacy. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all. We go.
这样子的，对，就把它圆放回去。大概有差不多10几个，12、3个。正好这个 size 就能保证每个人都能 speak。
对，真的。
I know, I didn't get time. That's all. I got to speak twice. So it's not good.
Twice?
Yeah, I call it a good day.
How do you do the second speech? Just like,
Huh? That was a table topic. I got signed in a few minutes before that.
没有看到，
But, so I
不过我们也基本上就是不管他
what do you have to
Yeah.
do?
Close.
对。
I'm at the next mission. Next week.